Hi, good morning, everyone. So today I've just got up out of bed and I want to do some morning activation exercises. By that I mean exercises that are going to warm my body up, get my muscles sort of flush, pumped, and ready to do some stuff, activated. And then I'm going to run up and find a bit of a hill. I'm going to run up and down that hill 10 times and then run home. And I thought it would be fun to bring you along for that in case that's something you like the idea of doing in the morning. And you can copy me. So you're going to need a stopwatch for the first part. And yeah, we'll get going. Right, so I'm going to set my stopwatch running because we're doing quite a few different exercises with it going. But if you want, you can stop and start it, but just so that I can concentrate on talking to you whilst I'm doing it. So the first exercise we're going to go for is a horse stance. Bring your feet to like a 10 and a 2 directionally. Just drop down into your knees. Bring your hips up and underneath. This is called a posterior tilt. So here I'm sticking my bum out to the back, but I rotate it underneath. Squat down as low as I can. Arms up in front and reach. And then we're going to hold this for 1 minute. Or if it's new for you, you can hold it for 30 seconds or 45 seconds or 1 minute. Now, key things with this. Look, my back is as flat as I can get it, and I'm trying to come down to here. So I'm not forwards like this. My hips are pressed, pressing forwards from underneath me, like almost like a thrust, and I'm rotating up. This brings my hamstrings and glutes into the situation, my posterior chain, which are the muscles which are going to propel me forwards when I'm running with my nice efficient running technique, which I can help you learn about as well. And that's why I want to make that position. I'm also actively pressing out, spreading the floor apart, reaching with my arms, pushing tall through the top of my head. And yeah, just keeping all of those intentions. Got a little bit more time. Let's see, 3, 2, 1. Cool, that's my minute on that. Now, maintaining the same leg position. I'll turn so that you can see. Here, again, into the posterior tilted position, but I'm going to drop one knee down and engage through my glutes, my hamstrings, drawing in again. This time I'm reaching in this direction for 30 seconds. So that was on 48. Similar ideas. So I'm vacuuming in my abdomen, which means drawing the stomach wall towards my spine, pressing down through this knee. I feel quite a stretch through this one. I'm pressing forward through there and reaching there, getting tall. Let's see, I've got 20 seconds. No, I've done 20 seconds. I've got 10 seconds left to go. Really reaching, I'm kind of on the wall here, so that's kind of in my way. But yep, there we go. That's 30. Back to the middle. Again, keeping this underneath. Drop the knee in. I literally just rotate it like that in the socket. Let's see, 30 there. Strong in the glutes, drawing in, pressing forwards through the front foot, and then holding this one for time. Same on the second leg. So I finished off with all of my holds on my horse stance and floating lunges. So now we're going to go to single leg calf raises. This is quite a key one for me because I snapped this Achilles, this one, full rupture in this Achilles about, 2022, July? So that's 3 years ago now. So this is a really important one for me, but it can be a very important one for you as well. This builds up a conversation between your hip and your foot, such that when you strike the ground, you get this very clean message through the whole leg, which allows the hip to extend and the foot to push and propel you forwards. It also just like feels really good. You don't necessarily need to worry about technically what's happening. So drawn into the core, as in I've drawn in through here, built a really nice long postural line. Imagine a little yellow ball just behind your stomach or behind your belly button, and you're vacuuming into that point. Then I bring my weight just to the front of one of my feet. I'm going to go for 20 reps, just letting my heel tap the ground, okay? Each time I come to the top, I'm pressing with my glutes and my hamstrings. I'm not actively pushing my hips forwards in space. I'm keeping them neutral, but pulling the muscles in and under my hips to support. You'll start to feel sensation through the back of your calf, up into your hamstring, hopefully into your actual glute. as we build that entire sort of neural message up the leg. I think I've done about 20. Let's hold 5 seconds at the top on the last one and relax down there. And then I just give it a bit of a stretch out. And now I'm going for the other leg. Now this is the one which is more difficult for me. You might be able to see from there that there's a difference in the muscle mass in the calves if you zoom in on the video, because I had to rebuild this one completely. So I've done a lot of these single leg calf raises on this leg, but I can do them. It's feeling strong. So if you've had trouble with an Achilles or something like that, I guess this is maybe good for you to see. It is completely possible to get that range back. Now, I didn't do this just from calf raises. I've worked a lot of different things. A couple of different coaches have had input on helping me rebuild the strength in my legs. Most notably a guy called Matt Shaw recently or earlier this year. That was really, really brilliant. So I'll put a link to him in the description. And hold. Oh. Woo! Okay, good. But now my legs are feeling really nice and extendy, coming up into my core, and that's what we're going to move on to next. A few core activation exercises before we get out and we actually start moving. Okay, so now we're down on the floor, and I absolutely love this next exercise. It's just so brilliant for connecting your legs to your upper body in terms of what you feeling sensation. So I'm going to smack this wall. Right, so it's glute bridges, but with a posterior tilt. Posterior tilt is that inclination of the pelvis that I taught you in the horse stance. So see here, there's a gap under my back. That's an anterior tilt. This is a neutral pelvis, and then a posteriorly tilted pelvis is where it's coming this way. When you do this, you can continue to rotate that way and actually bring it up into the air. And now also pay attention, because my rib cage, I'm going to pull it down that way, opposite direction. So the hips are traveling upwards, the ribs are traveling down, and that gives me this fire up in my glutes and my hamstrings. Really, really powerful. And then I'm going to roll down and up and hit that. I'm going to go for 10 of those. 3, 4. And each time just pulling rib cage down, rotating my hips up and into position. 8, 9, and then I'm going to hold 15 seconds. I've not got my timer on, so I'm going to have to just guess. And the whole time I'm in the position, I'm rotating and pushing, clamping my rib cage down, and then pushing harder. So this activation to my glutes and my hamstrings is really, really building. Okay, and once you've got that activation, I want you to build and intensify it. Really get the muscles, feel them engaged, and then roll straight in for another set. Once you've got it to that point where it's really kind of hurting, or hurting's almost the wrong word, but like you can very much feel that it's doing work, that's when you want to go into the second set. 8, 9, 10, cool. And I'm also feeling like a stretch across the front there, and I'm challenging that stretch. And now it's actually quite hard to stay here. Really trying to rotate and press up. I'm just going to do 2 sets. But if I weren't going for a run, I could do 3 sets of this and make it some really, really intense work. Let's do another 5 seconds. Oof, and down. Oof. Yeah, good. Very much, very much there. Okay, let's move on to some core exercises. Okay, for this next one, or these next 3, you need the stopwatch back. So we're going to do a dish hold or a hollow hold, okay? Now, really significant with dish hold. Dish hold is all about keeping your lower back on the floor. If your lower back is away from the floor, or even like slightly coming away, it might look like it's there. If it's not pressing into the ground, actively pushing in, then the exercise isn't giving you everything that it possibly can. Because this exercise is about connecting your legs to your abdomen. If they're here, then your lower back is doing the work. If you're engaged like this, then your hip flexors are connecting up into your spine and your lower abdomen is getting involved. So start in a ball, make sure that lower back is in and engaged. Then arms, watch my shoulders come up and away from the floor. I bring them next to my legs. Then I'm going to lower these down to as low as I can, but I can keep my lower back on the floor. For some people that might be like here, okay? I'm going to go all the way down to my position. But this is something you build up over time. So we're going to just do 30 seconds today. But what you do is you find the place where you can keep your lower back on the ground, and you find the level, and then you hold it there. Hold it where you can keep your lower back on the ground, and that's where you're going to do your work. Just 30 seconds. So I've got another 10 from now. Keep breathing, keep rounding up, redeveloping the position. Let's see, 3, 2, 1, good. Next position is going to be a side plank. I'll pop that there. With your side plank, same intention, draw into your stomach and really push your feet away, push your arm away. And we're going to hold another 30 seconds here. I'm trying to rise my hips up into the air and a sense of length through my arms, so there's this work in my oblique. If it's slippy, then you're either taking your socks off or finding a way to make the round, more friendly to the situation. And again, 30 seconds in position. So I've got 10 to go, 5 seconds to go, building, building, building. Good. And then we'll do the same on the other side. So I'll go for my other side, but I will probably meet you outside next. Yeah, we're going to move on and actually go running. So see you in a moment. Okay, so we're outside now. It's nice and sunny. I thought I'd go through a couple of sort of stretching options with you as well. So the first one is just we've got some dynamic kicks. So I like to just find something I can balance myself on. I draw in and keep this sense of balance and control through my core, and then I'm just going to bring this leg up as high as I can. Okay, feeling a bit of a stretch through my hamstring, and I'm trying to retain height through this other one as I do this. I'm kind of letting it go a little bit back behind me. I can bring it a little bit higher if I want to. And I'm actually going to talk about some stuff that you can do for stretching your hamstring in a moment, some intentions that you can put in to kind of improve that situation. But for now, we'll just start with these simple swings, feeling the weight of the foot, kind of bring your leg through. Again, retain your height, retain your sense of being drawn in your core. As many of those as you like. And then very standard one hit. So we can use this posterior tilt again. This idea here. Get a hold of this foot, and it's this classic looking stretch in the quad. But first I'm going to sort of actually bend a little bit, posterior tilt in my hips, and bring my hips up in and underneath, then pulling my leg back, and that's going to give me so much more of a stretch through the front. I'm pulling the hips up and into position like this, okay? Also engaging in the glute and the hamstring to really develop and build this, and bring it into the context of the shape that I want to make whilst I'm running, keeping my posture up through like this. So that's again, if I did it without holding, I'd be here, posterior tilt, pull the leg, okay? So foot's up and underneath here, posterior tilt, bring the hips into position. That'll already engage a little bit across there. Then I pull it back, and that's going to bring proper activation into that stretch. Engage in the glute and the hamstring and the back, drawing into your core, lengthening up. Yeah, really nice stretch in there. So that's a really nice one for the quads. I will give you a quick one for the hamstrings as well, and then we shall run. Okay, so a bit of a stretch for your hamstring. So in the same way that a posterior tilt can help us stretch the quad, an anterior tilt, taking your hips back in the other direction, can help us to stretch the hamstring, okay? So if I pop my leg up onto a wall like this, I can have a bit of a bend in this other leg, but then I take my hips to the back, anterior tilt like this. Stay tall, because this is already going to bring a bit of a stretch into the hamstring just by making that hip adjustment, okay? Once I've done that, hips back, then I'm going to think about sending my sternum to my big toe, which might be hidden by this bush for you. But anyway, anterior tilt, sternum to the big toe, and that's going to give me my stretch through there. Then I can come back up and posterior tilt, squeeze and engage those muscles. So I've taken them from a long position to into contraction, make them feel strong, but also teach them that I want them to work at length, at extension, okay? Forwards and through, up and underneath, forwards and through, up and underneath. Do about 5 of those, and then you can just hold here. You can also just play with the length of that knee, when you're over here. A few little pulses perhaps. Same thing on the other side. Maybe you'll be able to see my hips a bit better from here. So I've got a bit of a bend here. Anterior tilt, or stick your bum out to the back. Send your sternum forwards, in and underneath. Send your sternum forwards, in and underneath. Really engaging through the glutes and the hamstrings, okay? 3 or 5 of those. And then when you're at the front, you can do your work with your knee. You can do more than that as well. I'm just sort of moving through it. And then a few pulses, always keeping that sense of extension. And this is really the key, I think, with developing this kind of functional flexibility, is being active and having the muscle like have agency in the moment of it getting longer, and having it in a position where it can pull back into contraction, where it still can protect itself and it can still express force. That's where that useful flexibility is really going to develop. Now there is a space for relaxing and relaxing down into it, but it's only one tool in your arsenal. I think what you want to think about is you want a body which is responsive and dynamic, and you can do these things easily and quickly. So that's why we did all the muscle activation first. Anyway, let's go for a little bit of a run. Okay, so just a quick little bit about actual running technique. I like to imagine drawing into this little yellow ball. So I've drawn into this little yellow ball. I've got really nice tall posture. Imagine that you're pulling the little yellow ball just to the front of where your toes are. So you see my heels have come off a little bit and I can just sort of bounce here. So I can start to bounce on that, and then I want to lean again, and then that's what takes me off into the run. I saw someone teaching someone in the park the other day, and there's a really nice idea of like that you're catching yourself on the front there, and that then is what fires you off. Okay, now it doesn't need to be quite that dramatic. The only other tip that I really like to give people, because this doesn't happen, is like let your shoulder swing really loosely in the socket. Don't take your torso with you. Let the shoulder swing. Okay, so that one more time before we go. Drawn into the core, leaning forwards where you can have this little bounce and ping, feeling your glutes and hamstrings active. Bounce, 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 lean again, and then you're off and away. Okay, so finding my start position, drawn in strong to my core. I've got a real nice sense of elevation through my body. Hopping on the edge, lean, and off we go. Right, so I've arrived at the hill. This is called Stave Hill. It's in the Ecology Garden in Rotherhithe, in I suppose just about East London, Southeast London. Right, yeah, so I've actually run up to the top once already, so that's one of my 10 done. And my plan is to do 3 lots of 9 kind of shuttle runs. So I'll come up to the top, touch that bar, run back down 3 times, then have a rest, and then do that twice more. And I'll show you some pictures of that as well. All right, let's have a go.
Okay, hill number 1 is finished, or my first set of 3. It's really steep. I'm not sure if you can really gauge it from the video, but it's a steep hill. I've done quite a lot of hill running in my life, and this is definitely like a steep, short one, but really good, getting me out of breath. So have a nice little rest now, go for my second lot of 3. Okay, so second lots of hills is finished. I actually felt really good on that one. I feel like I've really got into my stride on them, and I'm enjoying it a lot. It's really nice because it's sort of come up and into the sun. And I had this thought on the third one where I was like, oh, this is really beautiful. I'm in a beautiful, beautiful place. And out in the morning doing my exercise, and that's really good. It's like a really cool moment, I think. Nice, simple, nice and easy. I was remembering doing hill runs with my dad back when I used to be a competitive acrobat, and for the fitness side of the competition, I used to go and do hill runs because an acrobatics routine is about 2.5 minutes long. And I just checked back on that video. This hill took, for 3 reps up and down, took just about 1 minute and 49 seconds. So a slightly longer hill would give you 2 to 3 minutes worth of intense work, and that's what an acrobatics routine was like. It was 2.5 to 3 minutes of, well, it was never 3 minutes, 2.5 minutes of intense work, full out performing powerful skills. So it'd be sort of like doing these hill runs, but you do like some clean and jerks in between, or like a somersault, throw someone around, which is tiring. So the hill runs were really, really brilliant for building up that kind of fitness to get me ready for that. But I actually just really like doing them. I love doing them, and it's just nice to be out and in it. And I have a lot of my sort of favorite ideas off the back of hill running sessions. Just sit down. Anyway, so I'll do my last one and then we'll finish up. There we go, that's that. I've done all of my hill runs. I really, really enjoyed it. In fact, I was thinking on the last one about what I was going to say to you at the end of the video. And I got like through my second one and I was like, oh, hang on, I'm doing some exercise here. Like my body was like, ugh. But no, I felt really strong. And as ever, what I found with doing YouTube videos is that my training sessions are really enjoyable and I feel really able and like I learn some new stuff about my body. Just really enjoyed that. It was really, really good fun. I wanted to give you a view. So Stave Hill Ecology Garden, rather hives. You can see Canary Wharf there, which is quite cool. Then that's Wapping over there, although not particularly distinctive, I'll admit. And then over here, we've got City of London, which you can see between those trees, framed very eloquently and elegantly. There's the Shard, and you can kind of just about see the London Eye as well. And I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it on the video, but you can see Tower Bridge, although it's very much hidden by trees. Then that big building there is the Founding, which is at Canada Water, which is my hometown in London. Absolutely love Canada Water. It's a place which I found all by myself, brought myself here, been building my business here. Now I'm building my family here with my partner Jessica, and it's just lovely, lovely, lovely. Really, really enjoying it here. So I hope that you gained something from the video, whether it was the warm-ups or an idea for doing some hill running, for gaining some fitness, or if you just enjoyed watching it. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and very much looking forward to seeing you in the next one.